Hey, this video is gonna be about blind thrust. First things first, Nayashe already has a video where he talks about blind thrust, and if you've seen it, then most of the information in this video is probably not going to be new to you. If you haven't and you want to, there'll be a link to it in the description. I do have reasons for making my own video, and I'm going to try to make it as concise as I can. So that's it for the preamble. Let's get on with video. Blind thrust is a great skill. It gives a 30% crit buff for 8 seconds, regardless of whether or not it connects with anything, which is a big deal. Just this alone makes it very applicable in both PvE and PvP. It's important to know that blind thrust has two different animations. The normal animation will occur when you input left mouse button and space, and there's no real reason to be using blind thrust in this way as opposed to the other method of using it, which is commonly referred to as forward blind thrust, quite appropriately, as this variation of blind thrust will move you forward. You can achieve forward blind thrust by pressing W and left mouse before space. As long as you press space last, it's fine. But if you don't, you'll end up jumping or using the normal blind thrust animation. Also, forward blind thrust is only doable when the skill is off cooldown, unless you play Succession Meva. But there really isn't a reason to be using blind thrust when it's on cooldown, as it will have neither the buff nor the stiffness CC. The distance that forward blind thrust moves you is comparable to the distance of chase if cancelled with retaliation, and it has a stamina cost of 100, which is the same as chase on cooldown. As such, if you want to buff yourself while you're dashing around, that's perfectly fine. Just know that you'll be unprotected for a short period of time. You can also use forward blind thrust as a tool to punish front guards. This is because while the direction that you will travel is determined when you use the skill, the direction of its damage and CC can be turned and follows the orientation of your camera. It's going to be easier to do this if you are closer rather than farther from your target when you start your blind thrust. Obviously, most people aren't going to stay stationary behind a front guard when you approach them. You're just going to have to balance these two things out. You may want to have the skill maxed out if you're going to be doing this. It does say on the tooltip that at absolute there is extra range on it, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how significant that is. It can be a little tricky to pull off, especially when everything is constantly moving around, but definitely worthwhile to learn, and it's very fun to do, very satisfying when you succeed. Also, if you mess up and use a normal blind thrust, it's okay. It happens to everyone, but make sure that you don't press right mouse button after, as you'll perform a second blind thrust, locking yourself out of chase. You can still backdash even if you make the mistake, but you have to press a directional key alongside right mouse button. If you struggle with this maneuver, I believe that anyone can become proficient at it, and if you need motivation, here's a clip of my friend who can pull it off on a controller. Yeah, I know. He's in permanent sicko mode. Have more questions about blind thrust or other stuff? Links to my Discord and stream will be in the description. Hope you have fun thrusting blindly.